Operation Mockingbird was discovered during a 1975 congressional hearing that showed that the CIA was spending $1 billion a year in 2016 dollars, adjusted for inflation, in under-the-table bribes to all major American news outlets, editors, and reporters in exchange for their covert cooperation to act as government mouthpieces and gatekeepers. The director of Operation Mockingbird at the time, Thomas Braden, admitted that if the CIA wanted to, say, extend a present to someone, he said, suppose this man could just use $50,000. That's $250,000 adjusted for inflation today, by the way. He says that he could hand it to him and not have to account to anybody. He said there was simply no limit to the money that it could spend, no limit to the people that they could hire, no limit to the activities that it could decide were necessary. The Congressional Committee's report revealed that the CIA currently maintain a network of several hundred individuals around the world who provide intelligence for the CIA and at times attempt to influence opinion through the use of covert propaganda. These individuals provided the CIA with direct access to a large number of newspapers and periodicals, scores of press services and news agencies, radio and television stations, commercial book publishers, and other foreign media outlets. After the Church Committee's report was completed, Rolling Stone magazine published an article naming some prominent journalists involved with Operation Mockingbird who worked for the New York Times, the Washington Post, Newsweek, Time Magazine, the New York Herald Tribune, Miami News, and other major media outlets. Shortly after these revelations, the former president of CBS, Sid Mickelson, was asked if the CIA still worked with reporters, and he said, yeah, he thinks they probably do, but a reporter would have to be much more circumspect because of the revelations of the 1970s. He said when doing it now, they run the risk of at least being looked at with considerable disfavor by the public, and that you've got to be much more careful about it today. During the early years of the Iraq War, the U.S. military secretly paid Iraqi newspapers to publish stories written by U.S. soldiers claiming that they were written by Iraqis who were supporting the U.S. invasion. Of course, most of the American mainstream media parroted the fear-mongering false claims of the Bush administration about the supposed threat posed by Saddam Hussein and his non-existent weapons of mass destruction. A 2008 report uncovered that many of the military analysts on TV who were reporting on the war in Iraq and the war on terror were actually in the Pentagon's pocket. Hidden behind that appearance of objectivity, the New York Times reported, is a Pentagon information apparatus that has used those analysts in a campaign to generate favorable news coverage for the administration's wartime performance, they admitted. In April of the year 2000, it was discovered that several soldiers from the U.S. Army's Psychological Operations Group had secretly infiltrated CNN and NPR, National Public Radio, several years earlier, where they worked as interns. NPR embarrassingly admitted that the U.S. Army's Psychological Operations Unit did place interns at CNN and NPR in 1998 and 1999. They said that the placements at CNN were reported in the European press, and then they were terminated. CNN's Anderson Cooper interned with the CIA for not one, but 2 summers while he was in college. But when this was reported 20 years later, he claimed that he decided not to pursue a career with them, but then instead went to become a journalist, even though he had no training or experience, and then quickly became one of the faces of CNN. Cooper wrote on his blog later on CNN's website that he told all his employers over the years, but none of them have chosen to talk about it publicly. These are just a few of the examples that clearly show that Operation Mockingbird type of activities continue to this day. These covert war propaganda programs were also adopted and implemented when social media emerged, and sites like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and the comment sections of online news sections were targeted for control as well. I'm Mark Dice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel here if you're new. Check out some of the previous videos and the playlist. Pick up a copy of my new book, the Illuminati in Hollywood, and you'll learn much more about this Orwellian world and the government's control over Hollywood studios. Stay tuned, more videos coming soon.